It could be. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our curriculum and instruction. I think I started too soon. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our curriculum and instruction meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 4:06. I'm Sherelle Harris, the curriculum chair. We have Mary Ellen with us and Sherry Brown. Erica will be a little late. She's in a meeting that ran over, but she will be joining us soon. So first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes.
So move, Brown.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. All in favor? Aye as well. So unanimously approved. Thank you. Any discussion? I should have asked that before, sorry. Any discussion, any changes?
And my name was spelled, the N was left out. I think the first time my name was mentioned in the first part of the minutes, it was just a misspelling, that was it.
Okay, so noted. So, so we approve with that correction, moved by Ms. Brown and unanimously accepted. Thank you. So there are no public comments. So we can move on. Mr. Pennington, Rob, has some updates on the program of studies, a few changes, not many. And the changes he will mention are the alignment between the high schools as they prepare for the capstone. So Rob, I will turn this over to you.
Wonderful. So I'm just going to start by doing some introductions because we have some new faces.
Yes.
And so, I'm Rob Pennington, Assistant Superintendent of Schools, and I'll pass it off to Ms. Bergen.
Hello. Good afternoon. My name is Stacy Bergen. I am the Educational Administrator for Curricula and Professional Learning for Norwalk Public Schools.
I'm Kyle Heaslip. I'm an assistant principal at Norwalk High, and I also have been working on the program of studies.
Welcome.
Yep. And Chad Sutherland, acting assistant principal over at Brian McMahon High School, also working with the program of studies.
Welcome. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Janine Goss. Nice to see you again. I'm the Education Administrator for Humanities.
Thanks, Janine.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Sherelle. Nice to meet you, Mary
Hi.
Ellen and Sherry. I'm Tina Henkel, I'm Janine's counterpart. I am the Education Administrator for STEM for the district.
Thanks, Tina.
All right, so I'm going to share our presentation, and as we go through, different people will share information, but please, if you have questions, I think that we'll have more than enough time for questions. All right. So let me share and I did share with each of you the document. It is a long document, but everyone did get a copy, and please feel free to peruse and ask questions as we go through. All right. Interesting. I'm going to stop sharing for a second because it is not sharing correctly. So give me 1 second here. There we go. And all right, so can you see the presentation?
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. So we did some introductions. So the purpose of this evening is to really talk about the course selection process that our students will be going through. We'll talk about their graduation requirements for 2023 and beyond. And we'll also talk about our multilingual learner updated pathway development because we've made some tweaks. I think in our previous curriculum committee, we've talked a little bit about the work that we are doing to support our multilingual learners. And then we'll talk about our new course proposals that will be working to support students in different courses, new opportunities, and really just giving our students the best education possible. So with that being said, I'm going to pass it over.
Okay, so thank you so much, Mr. Pennington. So this is basically our outline for the course selection process from the school counselor lens and also staff. So we're looking to finalize the program of studies, make sure that that gets into the electronic hands of students and families, just so that they have a full description of different classes that they may be able to select from. Middle school visits are planned for late February, early March for our feeder schools for different middle schools here in Norwalk. We are looking to have teacher recommendations submitted. So what we usually do is we'll roll out the kind of like the Power School open channel for students to start doing their course registration. They usually do that through our advisory here at the high school. And in addition, teachers are able to, you know, recommend students for particular courses that are next in their sequence. So if I'm a math teacher, you know, I would, you know, conceivably recommend my students for the next math course in that sequence based on what they have shown and what their choices are. So we have just kind of gotten through our meetings where counselors are meeting with departments to understand the prerequisites and other ins and outs of different courses. So teachers are able to start plugging those in. And then students are able to also.
Is this my list? Oh, that's your list.
And so after that point, we will be sitting down with individual students, especially for our junior meetings for 11th graders. And that serves two prongs to kind of work with them through their course selection and also make sure that they're good as far as post-secondary planning. The scheduling process, basically like the window for choosing courses and finalizing those closes in like late April rather. So April 20th is the date that we have on our calendar to make sure that we have everything in so that then we can, you know, run the numbers, figure out, you know, staffing needs and what courses would run and how we would want to set that up. And then after that point, students will hopefully get kind of a printout of their tentative classes that are selected closer towards May or June. And then we, as counselors or as staff, can kind of work to refine those choices to allow them to kind of have a good sense of what they're getting into for the fall of next year.
So this next slide that you're going to see is a grid, and this shows the course credit requirements at the high school level. Students are going to need 11 humanities credits. They're going to need 9 STEM credits, 2 physical education credits, 3 pathway related credits, and will complete a capstone requirement. So in total, students will have at least 26 credits in order to graduate. This grid is similar to the current year, with the one major change being the capstone requirement that Mr. Pennington will discuss later.
So one of the changes that we'll talk a little bit about is that and I know that our MLL team already discussed a little bit, so this is just more of a review, is that we current sequence has 5 courses One is
Hey,
an
Rob, I'm sorry to interrupt. Can you just explain what Capstone is for anyone who doesn't know, particularly anyone listening in or our newer members?
we're gonna go through a whole slide in a
On the
little bit
capstone,
about
okay.
capstone. Yep, just
Perfect.
specifically about the capstone so that everyone
And
has an
understand.
understanding, okay?
Okay, perfect.
So,
you.
no problem. So our multilingual learner path, we currently have 5 courses. If they are joining and they're a multilingual learner, they would take them through 5 course sequences. And one of the things that we are doing is we are transitioning those into a 4-course sequence. One of the reasons is to accelerate learning. And as we go through, we're looking at 4 years and supporting our students through more. We have co-taught classrooms in the first course or a double block of foundations, depending on their arrival or if they've been here for more than 2 years. So the big change is really, it's more of an inclusive model, going from a 5-section course to now more of a 4-section course. And that's for English, but we've also followed a similar trajectory in mathematics, social studies, science, and it is a new trajectory to support our multilingual learners in the high school, so that we want to support them through more of a co-taught model, and so that they can get through their courses and earn enough credits for graduation. So that is our our multilingual revised program of study for next year. It is just changing from that 5-course development to a 4-course development in more of a co-taught model. With that, I'm going to pass it over to Janine Goss.
Okay, so I will start us in reviewing our new course proposals, and we'll begin with humanities, specifically in the areas of English and social studies. So first, you see at Brian McMahon, we would like to propose adding an option for grade 11 students to take AP Literature and Composition. Last year, this was offered to grade 12 students only, since they also had the option of enrolling in an IB course instead. And so this will now provide students at Brian McMahon with a broader choice once they leave Honors English 2 in grade 10, to also have the option to take literature and composition at the AP level. And this is consistent with the AP course at Norwalk High School, who offers it in both grades 11 and 12 as well. If you wanted to take a look at that description, it's found on page 14 of the program of studies. So next, I'm really pleased to share with you the new social studies course that you've heard so much about. It's now going to be offered at CGS, Norwalk High School, as well as Brian McMahon High School, per state requirement. And as you know, PTEC piloted the new African American and Black, Puerto Rican and Latino studies course this year, and worked with the state to provide feedback for any revisions that needed to be made prior to the statewide launch for the 22-23 school year. So the addition of the course for the other 3 high schools is noted on pages 23 and 94, if you'd like to take a look at that. Next on the list, I'm also very pleased to share that Norwalk High School would like to offer a psychology course, which is in partnership with Southern Connecticut State University, that will allow students to earn 6 college credits. This would replace their AP psychology course now, and they really anticipate that this is going to be very well enrolled. The cost is free for students who receive free and reduced lunch, and it is only, I believe, about $130 otherwise. So that course can be found on page 24. And finally, at Brian McMahon High School and Norwalk High School, they would like to offer a new social studies course called Sports in American History. And this course will appeal to students who are interested in learning how history has played a role in the evolution of sports. And this would be offered in grades 11 and 12. And that course description can be found on page 25. So those are the new additions to our proposals today in English as well as social studies. So then I'm going to pass it over to Rob, who's going to stay in the humanities area and review with you some additions in music, art, and then PE.
There we go. So we have a couple new additions at Norwalk High for art and music. For art, we're looking to pilot a Yukon ECE Drawing 2 course. And this is something that we're hoping that can expand next year to our other comprehensive high school. And that really is, it's a college level course, and they will be able to earn credits through Yukon, which is really great for our students. The other course is a course already offered at Brian McMahon, which is a peer assisted art. And that is a co-taught specialized learning art course. And we've had that at Brian McMahon. And now Norwalk High also wants to include that. They have a peer assisted PE, but now they're making another course for art as well. And then for music, Norwalk High School has a drama teacher, and they're adding dramatic writing and acting 1 to their course offerings to really bolster up the arts that they offer in their music courses. And those are 35 and page 36. Now, one of the things that I'm really excited about, because I just think if you were to look in the news or you were to look across the nation, is if you're looking at our PE courses, we are looking to add a stress management and mindfulness course, really looking around that social emotional learning of our students, of our high school students in particular. And at Norwalk High and at Brian McMahon, they are offering a stress management course, mindfulness course. So I think it's going to be a great opportunity for our students to get PE credit and really focus on self and well-being and the whole child. And at P-Tech, it's a similar course, but except they're adding in a yoga and meditation piece to it. So we're really looking to diversify the physical education courses that we offer our students to really focus on the whole child. With that, I'm going to pass it on to Tina Hinkle.
Great, thanks, Rob. So the next series of courses are related to our STEM pathways and course sequences. This relates to science, technology, engineering, mathematics, also career and technical education, as well as business. We've given you some history on some of the course development over the last few years, and in the STEM area specifically, we've been working really hard to expand out our pathway courses that are related to many of our theme-based schools, such as the Marine Science Academy, the engineering pathway, Project Lead the Way, computer science. And so a lot of the courses for STEM this year are to expand on those pathways to ensure that students, by the time that they get to 11th or 12th grade, these pathways are completed and they can exit with a specific certificate or an industry standard credential, which is very exciting. Specifically in math, I'll start with, I know Kyle's gonna talk a little bit about the career readiness course with me. The one math course that the teachers have proposed and has been approved at our level in the curriculum and instruction department is the Principles of Algebra 2 course. This course was requested to ensure that students that have completed successfully the Algebra 1 courses, that this course is a focused Algebra 2 course to ensure that students are ready to move on to upper level mathematics courses and that they can still maintain the expectation of those foundational algebra skills so they can access higher level mathematics courses like statistics and probability, like pre-calculus, and statistics and computer science as well. I'm going to throw it over to Kyle for a minute on the career readiness course before we move on to the specialized courses between Norwalk High and Brian McMahon.
So the career readiness course is going to be offered through the business department. And it's the process of preparing students with the essential skills they need to find to grow within a job. So it's going to promote 21st century skills. There's going to be multiple activities based on prior knowledge, expanding their understanding, and really focusing on career options. And we think that this would be a good course to add to pathway for the business department itself.
Right, and both of those courses can be found on the pages to the right in the program of study. And so moving back into specifically some of the science courses, we have some new courses that we'd like to integrate into the science offerings. The first at Norwalk High is an AP seminar course. This is an advanced placement course that is offered by the College Board, and it's focused on advanced research opportunities. This is a sequence course within a series of 2 courses that eventually will relate to the AP research course pathway, where a student can earn an AP Capstone degree through the College Board. And so I know Rob will talk a little bit about that Capstone later on, but that's a new addition to Norwalk High School. And then finally, the last series of courses is specifically at Brian McMahon High School. As I mentioned before, we have a series of pathway courses or theme-based sequence of courses that certain high schools are looking to expand out. And so the first 2 International Baccalaureate courses would expand at Brian McMahon High School through the biology and chemistry course sequence, which they currently do not offer. And so this would expand into biology and chemistry now. And then the last 2 are an exciting expansion to our marine science and the marine trades pathway that we offer at Brian McMahon. We currently offer a marine engineering and trades 1 course. The second trades course would be just exactly what it says, a series, the second course in that series, which actually has an opportunity for kids to actually work in the fields with the partnership of the American Boat and Yacht Council. And by the end of that pathway, that marine engineering and trades pathway, students will obtain an entry-level marine service technician certification. So this will actually complete a full pathway and actually allow a student to leave with an industry-level credential, which is very exciting. And then finally, the computer applications for marine science studies. This is a partnership course with the business department. And this fulfills a digital literacy requirement towards graduation. And it relates some of the marine science studies pathway content and skills and relates that to computer applications. And so the business department and the science department worked hand in hand to collaboratively develop this course so that students, when they complete that pathway, will have all of the STEM credits that they need within the STEM fields upon graduating. So kudos to them. Great job. Very excited about some of these classes. And now I'm going to hand it over to Rob, right?
Yes. So our capstone requirement, and I think that this is the newest thing across the state for starting next year for our current juniors, is that they will be completing a capstone experience. It's a culminating experience that provides our students with the opportunity to develop essential skills and knowledge in an area of a talent or interest to them. It demonstrates learning, growth, and progress towards proficiency or mastery through some type of presentation. It's 1 credit course. It's a pass-fail course. And we're lucky that we have so many opportunities for our students, because for many students, this will be completed in their pathway or in some of the work that they're doing. We've broken it down because to build this experience, it needs to be starting as they come into 9th grade. So in 9th grade, they will be starting these modules such as Find Your Passion, Research Beyond Google, TikTok, Getting to Know Yourself. It's really about self-discovery in 9th grade. And they'll start to do some of these modules where they're going to build some of the things that they're passionate about. Going into 10th grade, they'll get an introduction to the capstone. They'll find a mentor in their building. It's like, how do you find a mentor to help you through your project? They'll take a module called Shark Tank Pitch, and then they'll start to work on their written proposal. Now, they're going to be able to work in 4 specific genres for this capstone. And it can be tied into problem solving. So like civic engagement, STEM, design, business economics. They can do an internship. An internship can be tied a real world experience under the supervision of a mentor. Application. They can do a research-based project, which is an independent, self-directed experience where they're going to, it could be academic, scientific, oral history, but they could do that research-based. They could also do a creative performance-based, like a musical recital. They could paint original art, dance, or theatrical performance. So it's really broken down into different opportunities. Now, we are also offering a senior seminar course where, because some students won't have, some will be able to really go through their experiences. I think of, our IB program, they may have an experience built in, an internship could be built in, but for some of our students, really having we have a freshman seminar that supports our freshmen, really having that type of senior seminar to support them. But I'm really excited because I feel like this is a real world project-based experience. It's not something that is just, I'm going to complete and get done. It really is about them finding their passions and really diving in deep to create something to share with the world. So that capstone experience, our current juniors will be the first group that will be going through that experience, and we'll be working with them this year and next year to support them through that experience. But we also need to plan for our current freshman, sophomore, because this is going to be a future requirement as we look into next year. With that being said, I do want to thank so many people that helped us. I mean, high school department chairs, principals, assistant principals, high school counselors, the curriculum and instruction team, our multilingual learner and specialized learning administrators and team. But really, this could not have happened without the work of Kyle Heaslip and Chad Sutherland. I really cannot say thank you enough. I need to give them a big kudos because they did a lot of work towards this presentation and towards the program of study. Because we have multiple meetings with departments and they bring it all together and create an amazing program of study booklet. So I do want to say thank you, and I want to open it up for any questions, because I'm sure you may have some questions around our program of study, around our capstone, around any of the information that we shared this afternoon. Go ahead, Ms. Brown.
I have a lot of questions. First of all, that was an amazing presentation. I wish all of that material was available when I was in high school, because it sounds really interesting. It sounds fun. It sounds amazing. So, and I apologize if you have told me the answer to this at some point and I just missed it. So going back to the MLL, the way that you have it structured. So how long does a student have to be in an English class, or how do you, when is it determined that they're able to take the standardized tests? Do they have to be here a year, or is it based on some kind of a benchmark relative to where their proficiency? How does that work?
So define standardized tests, because we have different
I'm
measures.
sorry, the state. So whatever
So-
the students have to take the state mandated tests, right?
So
Exams.
in high school, they take the SAT, but
Right.
all
Okay.
of our multilingual learners take the Lost Links assessment.
Okay.
And that Lost Links assessment will give them a proficiency rating. And then our goal is always to support them to move through, to
Right.
exit our MLL program,
Right.
because that means that they've shown the growth that we need. So they are not considered a multilingual learner in that category, so to speak.
So what about if you get a student, because your presentation notes that they're beginning in 9th grade. So suppose you get a student who comes here and he or she is in 10th or 11th grade already.
Mhm.
then where do they fall on that program that you laid out? How do you determine where they go?
So that's a great question. So we have, our first course, our point of entry course would be the English Foundations course. So even if they're coming in 10th grade, they would be taking the English Foundation course. One of the
Okay.
things that we have that I'm really excited because we have Francis Size, who you've met, and Taylor De Silva, is that we have a robust summer program as well that's offered to our students. So as students are coming in, we're keeping that learning happening year round and supporting them through their programs.
Love the partnerships with Southern and with UConn. I think that's a really great idea. How do you determine which classes are at Norwalk High and which are at Brown McMahon? Because you've got some where it's at both, right? And then there's some that are just Norwalk High, some that are just McMahon. So what's the reasoning for that?
Well, I'm going to let our team jump in. I will start us off, though.
Okay.
One of them would be the types of programs that they offer, i.e. currently our IB program is only at Brian McMahon and CGS.
Okay.
So if it's an IB course, that wouldn't currently be at Norwalk High School, so they wouldn't be creating that type of course.
Okay.
If they're offering the same course, it's called the same thing at all of our schools. That's one of our big commitments, because if I'm at Norwalk High and I go to Brian McMahon or vice versa, it should be the same course. But then also depending on staffing, like I know that Norwalk High School has a drama teacher, and so there's certain courses that they can offer that
Right.
maybe they wouldn't have at Brian McMahon at this time. But I will let Kyle and Chad jump in as well.
Right,
I
because you
was
have
going,
people who think that it's not the same. You know what I mean? The constituents say, "Oh, well, they're not getting the same education because classes are different, courses are different." So that's the reason why I'm asking for that
the
concern.
staffing is the major point I was going to bring up, because for example, at Norwalk High, we have 5 business teachers, but at Brian McMahon, there's 8. So it depends on the staffing at each of the different schools. But
Okay. Thank you for that.
And the other thing is, I think that what we're working towards is where students can really apply into kind of like that choice space.
Okay.
So if they have a particular interest in the Marine Science Academy or HOSA, different things like that,
Right.
between the different schools, they can apply into that, and there
Right.
are seats available for students to select what their interests might be. But
Just out of curiosity, off topic, does anybody know if we have any Darien kids who attend the CGS? Does anybody?
So I was going to say there are definitely kids that are from Darien that attend GGS. I can look it up.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's open to any student that's in Fairfield County.
I know.
But I can double check.
Yeah, I'm just curious. Thank you for that.
If I could just add to Sherry's question too, in addition to staffing and some of the thematic based pathways at individual schools, our department chairs and our counselors are always looking at student interest too. So I don't want to, I want to highlight that every year when we come to this process, part of the conversation is trying to respond to the needs and the interests of students, right? So every year, sometimes different courses kind of change based on interest, and we're always looking to respond to some of that interest of the students. And so we do take into consideration some of their feedback as well. So if there's courses that are on the up and up, and maybe we're not offering it, now it's a course proposal and a curriculum development process that we'd like to put forward to the board. In addition to looking at some of the courses that may not be of high interest, and we need to make some hard decisions on reducing some of those courses as well. So that is also part of our program studies process too, which relates to staffing.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Rob? Sherry, are you finished? Okay, my question is about the career readiness. I'm just really trying to figure, if you could explain a little bit more how in that situation, the pathways get more focused maybe, so just explain the career readiness course.
Rob, do you want me to take that? It was proposed by the department chairs at both business schools. And the idea was adding that course in as a way to incorporate like the Capstone experience for the business pathway. So there's a couple different like accounting, finance. They were hoping to embed that into the program itself. So for the career readiness, they're focusing primarily on business careers in the future and how that can be embedded.
Oh, okay. So I was thinking it took all the pathways, and I was thinking more broadly, but it's mostly for business.
Yes.
Okay, I see that. I'm also very happy to see the PE edition of mindfulness and yoga, and that's a really good thing. All of us should be able to sit in on those classes. Can I get a free pass to sit in? That's a really good. I find the IB very exciting. Prior to this year, you say you're expanding IB to biology and chemistry. What's happening right now? What was available for a junior and a senior this past year?
So they have a lot of IB math classes, but not as many IB core science classes like biology and chemistry. So those are now being transitioned to the International Baccalaureate program versus a traditional biology or chemistry curriculum that we currently offer in the district.
Okay, and of course, English, there was some English courses in IB, math and English. Is that what it was? Okay, good.
Correct. Yes, there are IB courses in English.
And am I understanding it correctly that the capstone requirement is it's not for our seniors that are our current seniors, but our juniors, when they become seniors, it'll become a graduation requirement. Is that
Correct?
Is that
They're the first cohort of students that will be a graduation requirement. Up until this point, it has not been a graduation requirement in the state, but starting with next year's cohort, it will be a graduation requirement. So we've looked to figure out a way that we can build in throughout their high school experience opportunities for self-discovery, and then to be able to work on what that project will be, and really breaking it down into different criteria to give them multiple opportunities to complete that capstone, and something that they're passionate about, because that's the other piece behind it, is it should be something that they have a passion to learn more about, to participate in.
So one of the things that comes to mind right away is that that might be a rich area for mentors to volunteer to, science mentors, gardening mentors, marine biology people.
I think that's going to be really important as
The
people are
oyster, we have oyster boats that go out, 6 or 7 of them every day, into the Norfolk Island area, and travel an oyster boat for a morning. That would be interesting. Okay, so I'm all behind Capstone, as long as there's a lot of support and they don't get jammed at the end. A lot of support through the years to get it to be really a personal experience. Thank you for the presentation. It's very exciting and opening, and as Sherry said, it makes me think I would have really enjoyed having all these options when I was in high school. Thank you.
I would have as well.
Rob, before you go on, I just want to say that Chad did answer Ms. Brown's question. There are 3 CGS students from Darien.
Thanks for that.
Of course.
I know where you're going with it. Any
Yeah,
other
we're all
questions?
going to the next meeting. We're all going to the next meeting.
Just an innocent question.
So I do want to, if I can, just before we go or whatever the next step is, I do want you to know, particularly the Chad, and I'm not sure your first name, Hayslip?
Kyle, yep. Thank you.
Kyle, how much I support your efforts and your support of the teachers. That's, to me, the whole, I don't want to, not a choke point, but a pivotal point is what good things go to the teachers, then they can directly inspire, encourage, excite, engage, all of those things to our students. So I see your work is eminently important, and want you to know that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Well, I know that we have, if there aren't any other questions, that is the few and like I said, there weren't many changes. I know that in the past there were a lot of different projects, but I know over the last few years, the team has done an amazing job of streamlining and really trying to build alignment between our high schools for courses and really trying to support our students to create courses that pique their interests. So
Yeah.
if
It did a phenomenal job. We're moving into the 21st century, and also things that are engaging for the students. They're not just taking them just to take them, but they're actually engaged because they enjoy the subject. So kudos. Any other comments or? Okay, seeing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Brown, I think Mary Ellen got it.
Yeah, I
I'm
make a
sorry,
motion to
Nancy.
adjourn the meeting.
Mary Ellen.
Yes.
All in favor? All right, meeting adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Thanks, everyone. Great work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you so much.
Bye-bye.